Hari Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudiraye. Jai Gurudev. So should we go back to chapter 3? Just give me a minute. You know, with chapter 3, it is like when I was in school, if I started one chapter and I would leave it midway and come back again and restart, I would not like to start from where I left. I would start again from the beginning. And this is pretty much what even my father, Nana, also used to do when he was studying his engineering. So there were some chapters he had done so many times from the beginning till the end. I mean, he had done the beginning so many times. So I think chapter 3 is a similar thing. I can't remember till where we did. I think we've done till maybe 5-6 shlokas. I don't know. But maybe we should start from the beginning.
Yeah, that would be better.
Yeah. So I could not ask Nana about the next steps. So let me see whether today I can, get some. I will ask him today. So the topic of karma. In the previous chapter, beginning at verse 55, Lord Krishna pointed out that a wise person, a sthita prajna, is one who gives up all desires, being happy with oneself in oneself. This is the ultimate human end and is what is meant by moksha, liberation or freedom. Giving up desires implies giving up all activities also. An activity is pursued because there is a desire to accomplish a given end. If there is no desire to accomplish a given end, there is no pursuit. Arjuna wanted Shreyas, liberation, and understood that in order to gain it, knowledge alone was required and karma was of no use. Krishna explained all this when Arjuna asked him to describe a sthita prajna. Before that, Krishna talked about the nature of the Atma being free from any limitation. Then he asked Arjuna to listen to what he had to say about karma yoga. He said, Yoge tu imam shrunu. That is Shloka 39, chapter 2. During this discussion, Krishna asked Arjuna to perform action, remaining rooted in karma yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani. Shloka 48, chapter 2. This mandate confused Arjuna. Should I continue to do karma or should I pursue knowledge? He wondered. If I pursue knowledge, I will definitely gain moksha, whereas if I perform karma, I will be bound by karma phala. Even karma yoga is not adequate for moksha. How then am I to gain moksha if I perform action? Arjuna had made it very clear to Krishna early in the second chapter that he wanted moksha. He told Krishna in so many words, I am your student. Please teach me so that I will gain Shreyas, moksha. Arjuna naturally expected Krishna to tell him exactly what would give him moksha. Krishna pointed out that knowledge would give him moksha, thereby implying that all karma was to be renounced in order to pursue knowledge. Why then was Krishna advising him to do karma? Having said that knowledge would give Arjuna moksha, Krishna had then said, "Get up and fight." What did this mean? Did Krishna think that Arjuna was unfit for moksha? Or did he think that karma yoga would also result in moksha? Arjuna wanted to know what Krishna's contention really was. The situation was like a man going to a doctor, being told that he had diabetes, and being advised to start and end each day with sweet rolls and pastries. Such a prescription would result only in a quick death and is not at all befitting the man's condition. Here Arjuna wanted moksha, absolute freedom, and karma was prescribed for him. He knew that the karmas enjoined by the Veda were strictly for achieving results within samsara, a life of limitation, and that they would not deliver him from samsara. Krishna himself had said to Arjuna, "May you not get involved with any karma unfolded in the Veda." Arjuna was therefore confused by all these conflicting statements. Since moksha was said to be purely in the form of knowledge, he concluded that he should go for knowledge. And if he was to pursue knowledge, why do karma? This was why Arjuna wanted to become a renunciate, a monk, and renounce all activities so that he could dedicate his life to the pursuit of knowledge. Giving up everything, may you go after this knowledge. Sannyasasya shravanam kuryat was a popular statement. The sannyasis Arjuna had seen had all given up everything to pursue knowledge. He therefore thought that if he was interested in moksha, he should do the same. This is the case for anything one wants in life. If money is what you're interested in, you must give up a lot of things and go after money. Or if you want power, you should go after it to the exclusion of all else, spending whatever money is necessary to get it. You cannot expect to retain your money and at the same time gain power. No election was ever won that way. However, after gaining power, whether you're able to regain the money is a different issue. Arjuna therefore thought, if I want knowledge, it is only reasonable that I should give up karma action. For a person to pursue knowledge in a dedicated fashion, giving up everything is not an unreasonable requirement. This is why a life of renunciation, sannyasa, loomed so large in Arjuna's mind and was all he wanted. In his eyes, sannyasa seemed to be the only destination and was the right thing to do. But Krishna had said, having decided to fight, please get up and fight. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nischaya. 37th shloka of chapter 2. Knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. Arjuna's confusion was based on his incorrect understanding of renunciation. Krishna seems to have dismissed the pursuit of karma for good by not allowing it to be considered in the pursuit of moksha. Therefore, sannyasa had to be the answer. At the same time, however, Krishna had praised karma. This apparent contradiction caused Arjuna to ask, what exactly should I do? He did not think of pursuing both karma and moksha because nowhere in the second chapter did Krishna mention combining them. Knowledge, jnana, is adequate for moksha. Moksha does not depend on any karma because it is not something that is created. Being the very nature of the Atma, moksha is already accomplished. The self is already liberated, already free, and needs only to be recognized as such. Therefore, knowledge alone is adequate for moksha. And after knowledge, karma is also not required because the person is happy with himself or herself as he or she is. What karma is to be done then, and for what purpose? Doing karma for the pleasure of it is not what is being discussed here. To do karma merely for the pleasure of it means that one may or may not do it. Some people will do karma and enjoy themselves, while others may not do any karma at all and still enjoy themselves. If you do something for the enjoyment of it, There is no question of doing it as a bounden duty. Therefore, you need not do it, or you may do it. But for moksha, why should you do karma when all that is required is knowledge? If knowledge is adequate, then you must only pursue that knowledge. Thus, from what Lord Krishna had said so far, it looked to Arjuna as though knowledge was the prime pursuit. But it was also very clear to Arjuna that he had been commanded to perform action. Therefore, the first dose of teaching contained in the second chapter was confusing to Arjuna, who was already confused when the teaching began. In an attempt to resolve his confusion, he asked Krishna to describe a sthita prajna, a wise person. This was an indirect question in that by knowing exactly what a sthita prajna was, Arjuna thought he would know whether it was knowledge or karma that would make him wise and therefore free. In response, Lord Krishna did not mention karma at all. He talked only about self-mastery and knowledge. He never said that one who does karma becomes a sthita prajna. All of Krishna's descriptions of a wise person implied knowledge alone. He had said that what is night for the ignorant is day for the wise, and what is night for the wise is day for the ignorant. In this way, he talked about two visions, that of the wise and that of the ignorant. The vision of one who is ignorant being different from the vision of one who is wise. From all that Krishna had told him, Arjuna received confirmation that knowledge was adequate for moksha. There was no question of moksha requiring a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of karma, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Moksha, after all, is not like an English trifle or granola. Only knowledge is necessary and all other little bits are useless. Thus, Arjuna concluded, if knowledge alone is going to liberate me, then the pursuit of knowledge is enough. If knowledge is adequate, karma never comes into the picture, neither before knowledge nor after knowledge. Because this was Arjuna's thinking, he had a doubt to raise. Thus, when Krishna finished talking, Arjuna asked his questions. There are two types of questions. One is a question that is asking for an explanation called prashna in Sanskrit. What is a wise person is such a question. Another type of question involves doubt. Doubt, samshaya, comes in the form of, does the sthita prajna walk, talk, sit, etc. or not? Only when there are two or more opinions about a topic is there a possibility of a doubt. Throughout the Gita, Arjuna raised doubts and also asked questions involving definitions or descriptions. When Arjuna wanted to know what a wise person was, he was not expressing a doubt, although he may have had one. He only wanted to know. What is sannyasa, for example, is not a doubt. It is purely a question asking for a definition. But when Arjuna asked which was better, sannyasa or karma yoga, he was expressing a doubt. Here in the beginning of the third chapter, he raised a doubt. Arjuna uvacha jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore ma niyojayasi keshava. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna asked, Janardana, O Janardana, karmanaha, that action, buddhihi, knowledge, jayasi, better, te matachet, if it is your contention, tat then, ghore karmani, in the gruesome action, mam, me, kim niyojayasi, why do you impel, Keshava, O Keshava? Arjuna said, if, O Janardana, your contention is that knowledge is better than action, why then do you impel me into this gruesome action, O Keshava? Arjuna addressed Lord Krishna here as Janardana, a name for the Lord, which means one who upholds the law of karma by giving the fruits of wrong action to the performer of the action. Wrong karma results in pain, dukkha, either immediately or later. Krishna's contention, as Arjuna saw it, was that the pursuit of knowledge and knowledge are better than or superior to action, karma. The action being referred to here was no ordinary action such as performing a ritual or cooking. It was a terrible, gruesome action involving bloodshed and the destruction of many people. Therefore, Arjuna asked Krishna, "Why do you engage me in this terrible action? If with reference to moksha, knowledge is superior, if knowledge alone is going to give me moksha, why are you asking me to do karma?" In Arjuna's understanding, Krishna was asking him to act, but at the same time, he was praising knowledge and its pursuit. Krishna seemed to be saying that knowledge liberates, but at the same time, he was asking Arjuna to do karma. And terrible karma at that. Arjuna wanted to be a sannyasi, and Krishna seemed to be pushing him into the ring to fight. He had not even signed a contract with him. He had asked only that Krishna be his driver, not his agent, who would arrange fighting matches for him. Arjuna's question, "Why are you asking me to perform this terrible action?" extends into the next verse as well. Vyamishrenev vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vada nischitya ena shreyohamapnuyam. Vyamishrena, self-contradictory. Vakyena, with words, iva, seemingly, may, my, buddhim, mind, mohayasi, you appear to confuse, ena, by which, aham, I, shreyaha, liberation, moksha, apnuyam, shall gain, tat, that, ekam, one, nishchitya, having decided, vada, tell. With words that are seemingly contradictory, you appear to be confusing my mind. Having decided which is better, tell me the one thing by which I shall gain liberation. Arjuna did not say that Krishna's words were self-contradictory, but they were seemingly contradictory. In Arjuna's understanding, there was contradiction. But even knowing this, he did not say to Krishna, "You confuse me with self-contradictory words," which would have been an accusation. Here, we are given an indication of how one should talk in such situations. When Arjuna said, "By words which are seemingly contradictory, you seem to be confusing me," he meant that, in fact, Krishna's intention was to confuse him. We know that there is often accusation involved in a dialogue between two people. If your perception is that a person did this or that to you, you may say, "You did this to me." The person then becomes defensive and will not accept your statement. You then feel that your feelings are invalidated and that you are not understood. The other person also feels that he or she is accused and not understood at all. In other words, there is not only no communication, but also miscommunication. Here, Arjuna's use of the words "iva," as though, reveals an important principle in communication. Never evoke the defensive person in the one with whom you are communicating. Arjuna was not accusing Krishna of confusing him, nor did he say that his words were contradictory. Instead, he said that Krishna's words seemed to be contradicting themselves, and therefore Krishna seemed to confuse him. This means that Arjuna did not think that Krishna was confusing him, only that this was how he perceived it. He says, "My perception is that I have not understood what you have taught because you seem to praise knowledge." Moksha is not produced by karma. For a wise person, all the karmas and the results that are mentioned in the Veda are like a well that has been completely flooded over by water. Of what use is the well water when there is water everywhere? You need not search for the well. When the river is dry, the well water is useful. But when the river is overflowing and the well is underneath it, you are not going to go looking for the well because it is not going to be of any use to you. Similarly, for the person who knows himself or herself to be full, free from limitation, of what use is an object of security and happiness except for its empirical value? This was how Krishna had praised the wise person. By praising the wise, wisdom is praised. Krishna had praised wisdom in this way and had made it very clear that knowledge was quite adequate for moksha. So Arjuna told Krishna that he was confused by being asked to perform action. Arjuna's confusion was based on his conclusion that either karma or knowledge should be able to take him to Shreyas. Karma, action, is something that can be produced, something that is born out of one's will, whereas moksha cannot be produced. 4 types of results can be produced by karma. Something can be created by you. Something that has already been created can be modified or destroyed by you. Something can be cleansed or purified by you. And a place that is already there can be reached. Whether actions are worldly or religious, they can only produce one of these 4 types of results. So one is, that is, you can create something, that you can destroy something that has already been created, destroy or modify, and something can be cleansed or purified by you, and a place that is already there can be reached. Example could be something that is created by you is like you have created a drawing or created a painting. Something that has already been created can be modified or destroyed. Like you convert milk to curds, you can modify the milk once you curdle the milk. Destroyed by you, you can destroy whatever you have created. Something can be cleansed or purified by you. Simple mundane example is washing vessels, but the same thing you can apply to your mind as well. You can clean your mind. Antakarana Shuddhi can happen, and a place that is already there can be reached. In the mundane world, like you're reaching a destination, but maybe the implied meaning here is that the place that is already there, your Atma is there, and that you can reach. I'm not sure whether we can use that analogy here. Whether actions are worldly or religious, they can only produce one of these 4 types of results. Here, however, we are talking about moksha which cannot be produced. If it could be produced, it would be lost also. If, for example, moksha could be achieved by purifying the Atma, it would take no time at all for the Atma to become impure again. You would have to scrub it every day. Nor can the Atma be reached because Atma is myself. So it cannot be. That implied meaning is not right. Atma is myself. It is not like you have to reach Atma. It is not something I have to reach because it is not away from myself. Therefore, reaching it is impossible. Modification of Atma is also not moksha. Therefore, what can be modified is subject to time. So, moksha gained will be lost. Also, in order for the Atma to be subject to modification, it would have to be an object objectifiable by me. But because the Atma is myself, it cannot be an object in my hands. Therefore, it is not something that I can modify. The self is already accomplished and moksha is identical with it. But Krishna was asking Arjuna to do karma. Therefore, Arjuna asked him to settle on one or the other, either knowledge or karma. If it was to be karma, he wanted to know why. The nature of knowledge. Knowledge is not something that is produced and is therefore different from karma. Knowledge is knowing things as they are. To know that an unclean object is unclean or that a clean object is clean is knowledge, jnana. To know an untruth as untruth or a truth as truth is also jnana. To know the real satya as satya is jnana. And to know the unreal mithya as mithya is also jnana. Because knowledge is as true as the object, it is not dependent upon your will. I cannot decide that this is how knowledge should be. I can only see the object as it is. Nor can knowledge be modified by my will. The will can set you up to pursue knowledge, but it cannot interfere in the perception of an object. This being the case, jnana and karma are two entirely different things. Arjuna wanted Krishna to tell him whether knowledge or karma would liberate him. Tell me whether I will gain shreyas by karma or by knowledge. Tell me which one will do it. Do not tell me that knowledge is all right and karma is also all right, and that I can go this way or that way. Suppose you go to one teacher who tells you that you should perform karma. Then you decide to go to another teacher for a second opinion, just as you might if a doctor you have consulted recommends surgery. A second teacher may say, what karma? You should do yoga. Yet another teacher might say, you must pursue knowledge. It is to be expected that if you go to 3 different teachers, each one may give you a different set of instructions. You then have to find out for yourself which of the 3 is proper. Which teacher is right? There may be a 4th person who is right. It is also understandable that the same teacher may give different advice to different students. One student may ask, should I marry or not? And be told that he or she should marry. Another student may be told not to marry because he or she does not know how to take care of himself or herself. The person is already a dukhi and risks making another person a dukhi also by marrying prematurely. Thus, a teacher may advise his or her students differently. Arjuna's confusion about knowledge and karma. In the Gita, there are only 2 people involved, Krishna the teacher and Arjuna the student. It seemed to Arjuna that Krishna was saying, knowledge liberates, therefore do karma. Only one student was involved here, Arjuna. It looked as though he was being told, knowledge is okay and karma yoga is okay. Arjuna was therefore understandably confused by Krishna's seemingly contradictory words. There was a similar situation in the epic Ramayana between Prahasta and Ravana. Ravana had kidnapped Rama's wife Sita. This was probably the first kidnapping ever reported and was definitely a federal case. Rama, who was a king, took the case into his own hands. When negotiations for Sita's return were unsuccessful, Rama declared war on Ravana. Ravana had a minister, Prahasta. Summoning him, Ravana asked, Prahasta, what do you think? Should I give Sita back to Rama? I think we are inviting trouble by keeping her here. To which Prahasta replied, yes, Maharaj, we should give her back because we are definitely inviting danger by doing otherwise. We will all be destroyed. Hearing this, Ravana became very angry and said, are you saying that we will be destroyed by this Rama, a mere mortal, an ordinary human being? Are you telling me, Ravana, who has 10 heads and great powers, that this puny little Rama is going to destroy me? Never, Maharaj, never, Prahasta replied. Rama is a nobody. He has only 2 hands and 2 legs. With his bow and arrows, what can he possibly do to you? Then Ravana said, but I am told that this Rama is not an ordinary mortal. Prahasta's reply came promptly. He said, Maharaj, do you know what I have heard about this Rama? They say that he is an avatara, an incarnation of the Lord himself, and not an ordinary mortal. Growing even angrier, Ravana asked, do you think that Rama and Lakshmana with these monkeys can beat us? We can beat anybody. When I am the Lord of the 3 worlds, are you saying that these 2 are going to destroy me? Never, Maharaj, Prahasta replied. How can these 2 fellows with their monkeys do anything to you? Ravana then said, but I am told that the monkey Hanuman is a very powerful fellow. Maharaj, there is not only one Hanuman, Prahasta responded. There are thousands of monkeys. Some of them are as great as Hanuman. There are so many of them that if they all come here, we are done for. Then Ravana asked, are we afraid of monkeys? What, Maharaj? Exclaimed Prahasta. Of course, we are not afraid of monkeys. Varuna, the god of water, comes and waters our gardens. The god of air, Vayu, comes and sweeps our floors. Why should we be afraid of these monkeys? It would seem that Prahasta had read a book equivalent to How to Win Friends and Influence People. The advantage of being a Prahasta is that in every cabinet reshuffle, his name always appears on the top of the list because he says yes to everything. A teacher answers questions. Such pleasantries may be acceptable to those who are anxious to maintain a position. But in Arjuna's case, the relationship was one of teacher and student. I am your student, Arjuna had told Krishna. A teacher should not be afraid to tell a student what is true and what is not true. If a teacher does not tell you what is true, who else is going to do it? Arjuna wanted Krishna to tell him what was true and not true. Therefore, he was not looking for pleasantries. He wanted to be told what was the one thing to do that would give him moksha and did not want to hear about anything in between. He did not want to be told that karma is good and knowledge is also good because he did not see it that way, even though it looked as though this was what Krishna was saying. Arjuna was as though saying to Krishna, from your words, I understand that knowledge liberates and karma binds. Why then do you want me to be bound to this karma? Every karma I perform only makes the knot more complicated. If I am to resolve this knot, this tied to samsara, a life of limitation, for which I need and want moksha, then I need to pursue knowledge. But you are asking me to act. Therefore, you must have something in mind. Please tell me what it is, because I do not understand. This then was the thinking behind Arjuna's question, which was really a doubt. Krishna answered him in the next verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Shri Bhagavan, the Lord said, Anagha, O sinless one, Asmin, in this loke world, Dvividha, twofold Nishtha, committed lifestyles, Pura, in the beginning, Maya, by me, Prokta, was told, Jnana Yogena, in the form of the pursuit of knowledge, Sankhyanam, for the renunciates, Karma Yogena, in the form of the pursuit of action, Yoginam, for those who pursue activity. Shri Bhagavan said, O sinless one, the twofold committed lifestyle in this world was told by me in the beginning, the pursuit of knowledge for the renunciates and the pursuit of action for those who pursue activity. Krishna was not talking here as Mr. Krishna, who was born on a given day at a given time, but as Ishvara, the Lord. Throughout the Gita, Krishna talked as the Lord, except in one or two places where he said to Arjuna, you are my friend. In fact, anyone who understands the nature of Ishvara can talk as an avatara, as Ishvara incarnate, just as Vyasa had Krishna do in the Mahabharata. In the 4th chapter of the Gita, Krishna himself talked about what an avatara is, and we shall see that later. Here in this verse, Krishna said that in the Veda, the twofold Nishta was expounded by him. Nishta means a committed lifestyle. For example, a person who is committed to the practice of japa, chanting the Lord's name, is called japa nishtha. And when performing austerities, tapas, as the emphasis in one's life, the person is called a taponishta. One for whom the pursuit of Brahman is the nishta is called brahmanishta, and jnana nishta, one whose commitment is to knowledge. In this verse, Krishna said that one of the nishtas or lifestyles he revealed to the world in the beginning is for the Sankhyas, the sannyasis, and is in the form of jnana yoga, meaning that knowledge is the means. Knowledge is the means for the Jnana Yogi, who is a sannyasi, because he has no karma to do other than the pursuit of knowledge in order to gain moksha. The other nishtha, karma yoga, he revealed to the world in the beginning, is for everyone else, karma yogis. Krishna then revealed the twofold nishtha to Arjuna. The word Sankhya means knowledge and is also used in the Gita by Lord Krishna to mean sannyasa, the life of renunciation. Those who are committed to knowledge are called Sankhyas, and the knowledge that is unfolded so clearly by all the Upanishads, the subject matter referred to as Vedanta, is called Sankhya. The only topic that Vedanta deals with is Atma is Brahman. Therefore, Sankhya means Brahman, and what is unfolded by the Vedas, by the Vedanta, is called Sankhyam Brahma. Because the knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya, and those who pursue that knowledge are also called Sankhyas, we find in the Gita that the word is also used as a synonym for sannyasa, the lifestyle of renunciation in which knowledge alone is pursued. Because Arjuna wanted Shreyas, moksha, Krishna told him about this twofold nishtha. Moksha is clearly the end in view, and the nishtha is a means to this end. The nishtha is twofold because there are two different groups of people. One group is called karma yogis or just yogis and includes everyone who does not live a life of renunciation. For these people, there is karma yoga, whereas for the sannyasi, there is jnana yoga. These two styles are in accordance with the 4 stages of life found in the Vedic culture. The first stage is called brahmacharya ashrama, wherein the person lives a studious life with learning as the main focus. The brahmacharya ashrama prepares one for the next ashrama, the grahastha ashrama or marriage. In Chandogya Upanishad, we read that Shvetaketu spent 12 years in the Gurukula, which he joined when he was 12 years old. So the first 24 years of one's life is the first stage of the brahmacharya ashrama. The second stage of life, grahastha ashrama, where being a householder and raising a family is the primary focus, prepares one for the third stage called vanaprastha ashrama. In this stage, a person remains married, but husband and wife live as friends rather than as a married couple. The person continues to perform the various rituals enjoined by the Vedas for householders, but withdraws from worldly activities and lives a contented life. The vanaprastha ashrama prepared one for the fourth and final stage of life, sannyasa, a life of renunciation. Sannyasa is the best retirement plan there is because you do not require money for it. You simply renounce whatever you have. Renunciation is possible at any stage. Arjuna, who was in the grahastha ashrama, wanted to renounce. He did not want to go through the intermediary stage as a vanaprastha. To remain as he was meant that he would have to remain a grahastha for a length of time and then take permission from his wife to move on to the vanaprastha ashrama, none of which would be easy. Nor was it necessary to do so, for the day a person wants to get out of any of the 3 ashramas, it can be done. When one discovers the readiness, the dispassion in oneself, on that very day, one can take sannyasa. There is a Vedic sanction for it. The sannyasa ashrama is a stage in life where one is absolved from performing all karma. One is freed from all duties in order to pursue knowledge. This pursuit is all that is to be done. Therefore, the person must already be a jnani or want nothing but knowledge. Types of sannyasas. There are 2 main types of sannyasa. For a person who is already a jnani, that is vidvat sannyasa, a sannyasa taken because of knowledge. The person, one second. The person has knowledge and therefore there is nothing more for him or her to do in the world. No obligations whatsoever. If the knowledge has been gained in any of the other three ashramas, Brahmacharya, Grahastha, or Vanaprastha ashrama, the person can take to the sannyas ashrama directly, taking Vidvat sannyasa, so that he or she is no longer obligated. Otherwise, for the person with knowledge, there will still be obligations because each of the first three ashramas implies certain duties on one's part, which cannot be left undone as long as one is in that ashrama. Thus, the person takes sannyasa to be free of these obligations, to make it perfect, in other words. The other main type of sannyasa is called Vividisha sannyasa and is meant for knowing. The sannyasa is for those who desire to know the self Atma as Brahman. The person knows exactly what is to be done. He or she has heard that this Atma is Brahman and wants to know it. Such a person is not interested in anything else and has a certain viveka, discrimination, with reference to the real and the unreal. He or she also has vairagya, dispassion, mumukshutvam, the desire for liberation, and other qualifications in various degrees. And with these qualifications, the person takes to the life of sannyasa called Vidvat sannyasa. There is a third type of sannyasa called apat sannyasa. When a person thinks he or she is going to die and does not want to die a grahastha or a vanaprastha, but rather as a sannyasi, he takes apat sannyasa. Apat means danger, because the sannyasa ashrama is always praised in the Shastra. It is natural for a person to want the results of this ashrama. It is as though the person has had a blank check all along and now wants to encash it. For one who has already lived a grahastha life and has been told that death is near, there seems to be no use in continuing in the grahastha ashrama. A man who is not about to die will usually want to remain a grahastha because he is fond of his wife and children. But if he knows he is going to die fairly soon, he may go for apat sannyasa. At such a time, one does not require a guru, but can simply declare oneself to be a sannyasi. With the sun, the elements, and all the gods as witness, one can make vows for which there is a particular mantra. And if one happens to survive, the vows taken can always be ratified later. This is how Shankara became a sannyasi. How Shankara became a sannyasi. Shankara wanted to become a sadhu at a very young age, but his mother was not at all agreeable. As the story of his life goes, he had the help of a crocodile that had caught hold of his leg while he was bathing in the river. Shankara's mother was waiting for him on the bank and he called out to tell her what was happening. It may have been a ploy or perhaps the crocodile was symbolic of samsara. We do not know. In any case, when his mother began crying, Shankara told her that if he took the vows of sannyasa, the crocodile would let go of him because there was danger to his life involved. This was apat sannyasa. Shankara then took the vows and lo and behold, the crocodile released him. When he walked out of the river, his mother said, "Come on, let's go home." "What?" Shankara replied, "I'm a sannyasi now." When his mother told him the vows were only for the crocodile's sake, he said, "Not at all. I have made the vows and I'm going." In this way, Shankara became a sannyasi. Later, he went to the Guru, Govinda Bhagavad Pada, who lived on the banks of Narmada in the middle of India, and became his disciple. It was Govinda Pada who ratified Shankara's vows of sannyasa. Ratification is always possible whenever one has taken apat sannyasa and survives. Expecting some good end from the sannyasa ashrama, people have value for it. This expectation is based on the belief that a sannyasi does not take another birth. And if there is a birth, the hope is that one will at least get a better chance in the next life. This is a belief and one has faith, shraddha in it. A person may be born into a family where he or she can start life as a sadhu, so that directly from the brahmacharya stage, he or she will become a sannyasi and not a grahastha. Thus, those who have become sannyasis this way may have been apat sannyasis in their previous life. The last ritual of a sannyasi. Arjuna's heart was not in apat sannyasa. He was not dying, but he did not want to know. But he did want to know. Therefore, he wanted to take vividisha sannyasa. In sannyasa, one gives up all karmas for which there is a special ritual, the last fire ritual that a sannyasi performs. You may see a sannyasi doing a puja, but you will never see a sannyasi sitting around a fire performing a Vedic ritual. Such a person has been freed of all obligatory fire rituals, of all karmas, in fact. A sannyasi's last fire ritual is one in which all karmas are given up. In this ritual, the sannyasi bids goodbye to all the ancestors to whom there has been an obligation: father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandmother, then rishis and devas. The person taking sannyasa says that self-knowledge will be pursued to the exclusion of all else, asks for the blessings of the paternal and maternal ancestors, and takes a vow of abhaya, a vow not to harm any living being, including trees and plants. The sannyasi also vows to be a non-competitor in this world and all others, thereby becoming a person who does not compete for the sake of status politically, economically, or socially. Knowledge is the only interest for the sannyasi. Having taken these vows, the sannyasi takes a few symbolic steps towards the north, the direction that stands for moksha. South stands for death. Thus, Lord Death, Lord Yama, is a sadhana. This symbolism may be based on the polar attraction in the north. Death never attracts you, whereas freedom from death does. Moving towards the north in search of moksha, having discarded all clothing, the sannyasi is called back by the guru, given a set of simple clothing, and asked to serve and continue studying with the guru. Thus, this then is the ritual of sannyasa, be it either vidvat sannyasa or vividisha sannyasa. Both are mentioned by Shankara in his commentary. In vidvat sannyasa, one may or may not take sannyasa formally. The main aim is that by knowledge, one gives up all karmas. The knowledge is, I am a non-doer. I perform no action. This is what is called naishkarmya, the state of actionlessness. I perform no action at any time because Atma, which is I, does not perform any action. Nor does Atma cause anyone to perform action. I am not a doer in spite of all the actions I do. This knowledge is real sannyasa as described as jnana karma sannyasa. For the sake of this jnana karma sannyasa, one takes to the lifestyle of sannyasa, pursuing self-knowledge. The other nishtha, karma yoga, is for all those seekers in the other ashramas. So I think we will stop here today. We'll do the purpose of karma yoga from tomorrow.
Can you please recap the three different sannyasas in maybe just
Vidvat
one word?
sannyasa, vividisha sannyasa, and apat sannyasa. Vidvat sannyasa is a jnani who's already a jnana nishta, who's a accomplished jnani who already has the knowledge. That is a vidvat sannyasa. Whereas vividisha sannyasa is one who takes to sannyasa wanting to pursue knowledge to the exclusion of all else. Vidvat sannyasa is already excluded. He's a jnana karma sannyasa. He's already reached, he's already accomplished. Whereas vividisha is still in the process. And apat sannyasa is one who, when there is some danger or he's about to lose his life, he's about on his deathbed, he takes to sannyasa because it is believed that taking to sannyasa will not give him a rebirth, that is one. Or even if he has a birth, he gets a birth into a conducive family where he can continue his evolution. So these are the three sannyasas.
Okay, and this walking towards the north, what is the significance?
That is the polar attraction. That is what is said. We are normally attracted to the north pole, the positive pole, right? Positive, negative. So north is considered positive, south is considered negative, in that south is the direction of death, yama. So therefore, the sannyasi takes that few obligatory steps towards the north. Symbolic steps, that is, he is going towards moksha. One is moksha, north is moksha, south is death. If you consider death as, not moksha.
And the Sankhya definition?
Sankhya,
it equates to Atma, it equates to Jnana. And what else? Few things I have.
Yeah, Sankhya is actually the word Sankhya means knowledge, which is also used in the Gita by Lord Krishna to mean sannyasa. So it's synonymous to sannyasa, the life of renunciation. So those who are committed to knowledge are called Sankhyas. And the knowledge that is unfolded so clearly by all the Upanishads, subject matter referred to as Vedanta, is called Sankhya. So the only topic that Vedanta deals with is Atma is Brahman. Therefore, Sankhya means Brahman. That is unfolded by the Vedas, by the Vedanta. It is called Sankhyam Brahma. Because the knowledge of Brahman is called Sankhya, and those who pursue that knowledge are also called Sankhyas, we find in the Gita that the word is also used as a synonym for sannyasa, the lifestyle of renunciation. So Sankhya actually means knowledge. It is also equated to sannyasa. And because
it was in Atma.
It's also equated to Atma, because that is the only the subject subject matter of the Vedanta, of the Upanishads.
Very nice.
Yeah. Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga.
And I think this way it would be better, like in between stopping and the flow would be broken. This is a good concept.
Yeah.
You keep those questions in mind or keep noting those and then maybe come back.
Correct. This will be good. So we'll take up purpose of Karma Yoga tomorrow.
Yeah. I am sure you have posted this on WhatsApp group, this PDF.
Yeah.
Have you posted this in the email?
Email is actually, I'm finding it difficult because these big files is difficult for me to post.
Okay.
I'll post it in the WhatsApp group again.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Dhanyavad Guru Maharaj.
So, Dr. Savita, you will do the chapter 15 tomorrow?
Yes, you can give any like 15. I think tomorrow Sudeshi will be there. Maybe he will like to chat.
Okay. So then let him do, so if he's there, let him do 15. In which case you may want to do 16. Tomorrow, actually, I think we will complete 16, 17, 18. We will be able to complete tomorrow.
One request I want to make.
Yeah.
Because Nanaji every time wants to recite one adhyay. So
He will do
and
18. Nana is
yeah,
going to do 18 tomorrow.
his voice is so it's so godly that after listening to his chanting, we really feel very blessed. So I just request to give one chapter to him, please.
Yeah. We will do 18 chapter. It's already decided. Chapter
Okay.
2, 18, he will do. Yeah. 18 he
Yeah.
will do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Jai Gurudev.